My name is Ridina Ahmedova. I'm basically a musician, performer, and also I create audio documentary programs for the Czech radio. I came here with a performance called Fat, which is a solo performance that I created at a certain point of my life. As a woman who was always fluffy, and then when I had children, it was even more than fluffy. I really became fat, and still I think that even if as women we are fat, it's not something that allows the society to be rude and humiliating and dehumanizing and excommunicating women. When I started to prepare this performance, I launched a call, and I was very interesting how other women around me live if they feel the guilt of not having the right body according to the people around them. So I received a lot of answers, and I started to record them. And I realized that we live in a society where even women who are top sportsmen, there's an interview with a woman who has a silver medal from the World Championship in swimming, who are working as fashion models. They still feel guilty because they find on our bodies things that don't really answer the beauty standards. So living with the feeling that you don't answer the beauty standards can easily lead to self-hate, a lot of anxiety, a lot of eating disorders, self-harming, and so on, a lot of mental health issues. I think it would be more maybe a question for like medical doctor, which I'm not. But as far as I have really dived into this topic, the reasons of overweight and being overweight and being obese are very complex. There's this stereotype that when you're fat, that means that you are lazy, you eat a lot, and you drink sweet sodas. But it's maybe sometimes it's the case, but it's much more complex. I started the project Sadlo Fat only from this inner need to get answers from my situation in a way, on the way society addresses women. So that's why I was only interviewing women. But of course, then when you open the topic more, when the podcast was on air, I received emails from men also, and it was interesting because of course it's always much less men than women answer or react to this, but they were men. I remember there was an email, for example, from a father who was writing me, "Wow, thank you for your podcast about fat." Because I realized how I spoke with my daughters. We give, now I'm speaking for the organization My Body is Mine. We give workshops for children at schools, second grade elementary school and high schools, where we try to lead them through different exercises. Then they will listen a part of the podcast where somebody is bullied because of their looks and things like this. We try to bring them so that they can themselves formulate the basic rules of social behavior that would not be harmful in the means of body image. Every human being deserves respect, regardless of the way he looks like. That's the basic rule. We don't judge the value of the people according to their looks. And the second rule, it's from my safe space, is I have responsibility for my body. It's my responsibility how I eat, if I move, things like this. But I am not obliged to reply or to answer the expectations of the people around me. If they have comments, they have opinions, it's not my obligation to do what they want me to do. Yes, I'm responsible for my body, but other people's opinions are other people's opinions, that's their stuff. From my point of view, what we can do, what feels very healing for me is not hiding our insecurities. I think in the world with the social media and everything where we live, and the world that pressures us to be really competitive or being really good, great, it's almost like a risk to show the fragile places we have. And I feel that it's so healing, such a relief to admit that we have vulnerabilities, insecurities, some dark places even maybe, and that it's normal that we live in a society of people we are not alone in being insecure and being sometimes stronger, sometimes weaker, and even we have the right to be really weak sometimes. If this project gave me something, then it is really the shifting from I'm struggling with this thing, and probably other people they look so great. They probably don't have this issue as I do. It was this huge shift to wow. So there's a majority of people who feel the same way, because when I sometimes I do in the workshops or even on the performances when there's this discussion after, I say, please could you raise your hand who experience body shaming or who experience some insecurity about their bodies, who just don't feel good enough to be loved, to have sex, to be the person who somebody is really attracted to, and things like this. And then majority of people raises their hands, and then you realize that you're not alone, that it's really some system things. I think, as I said in the beginning, collective or also some social standards disposition, which is maybe an interesting way to think about it, that maybe it's not just me who is failing being slim enough and I have to do all these operations, otherwise I won't be loved, but maybe the society is really pushing me somewhere where I don't have to necessarily be there. So that's the sharing, I think, is really, really interesting and important.